Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, can you guys see?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's just get started. So first thing that we want to do, we want to kind of make a simple shape. So let's go ahead and make a circle. Now, if you remember last time I discussed the radial menu. Radial menu is basically customizable by the user. It's the most commonly used commands. So let's go ahead and make a rectangle. You know, just the random dimensions. It's not important. So when we click on it, you know, this arrow pops up and you can click and drag the arrow wherever you want. So if I take it to the edge, this edge, it pops up like this, but you see there's a little steering wheel circle that pops up. So if I click that, it allows me to rotate whichever direction I want. And then I can also specify the angle that I want. If I press shift once, it allows me to extrude symmetrically. Now, let me take the steering wheel and move it to this edge. Same thing. You know, it allows you to extrude however much you want. Same thing. And then you can specify the angle as well. But I don't want to do that. I want to just simply extrude. So I'm going to click right here and simply extrude. Let's make that 34. It's random. Now what I want to do is I want to take a simple line command, and just draw a line on the top of the face, this top face that I have. You know, just simple sketch. I want to make sure that it's vertical. And then you see how like the edges of the line don't match up with the edges of the model, right? And that's fine. Solid Edge allows you to do that, where you simply just sketch a line, but still, what it does, it sees this as an enclosed, you know, area. And so I can simply click on it, and I can select, and then push it down to remove material, and then pull it up to add material. Also, if you remember, same thing last time. Like if I take this and put it at the edge, I can do the same thing. I can remove the material or pull it to add material, right? But I don't want to do that. I want to simply extrude it. Just like that. And I'm able to extrude that. Now, if I go right here, so this is a side view, right? I want to take this, the side of the model, and I want to rotate it. So I can simply select it, and I can move the steering wheel if I press shift and click on the arrow, like whichever direction. What it does, it aligns the steering wheel, but it translates it wherever you want it to move. So I want to move it right here a little bit, and then I want to be able to rotate this from either this direction or this direction, right? But the steering wheel is not in the right orientation. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna press shift and press in the middle of the steering wheel. You see this little area? Press it right there, and it changes the orientation.
That was a light blue area?
The light blue area, correct. In the middle. You have to hold shift. And then if you do that, it changes into different orientation. So you can keep doing that to you know, get it to the correct orientation that you want. Let me get this in the center. Now I can simply move that. So if I want this to be a little bit more stable, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the steering wheel and translate it to the bottom. And that should give me a little bit more stability. Yeah, see, because I want this to rotate along this axis. I could also take the steering wheel and then move it to this edge right here.
Gotcha.
So it's all up to the user. It allows you to, you know, however you want to do it. It allows you to be able to customize and model to the user's desire. And then I'll show you a really cool example. So this is one of the parts that we had to do, you know, we had to design for machining. And so if you look at it, you know, this is like a bore. It attaches to an assembly, a clamp. And then, you know, you get fasteners in here. And so this is a really important part, right? So if a customer comes to us and tells us, hey, you know, we want to be able to translate or rotate this arm back 5 degrees, you know, if we did that in ordered modeling, it would take us a really long time. We would have to go back to the sketch, you know, and remodel the entire thing, or we would have to extrude, you know, along a plane at an angle and then remove material. And basically, it's going to be such a hassle. Well, what I can do in synchronous technology, I can just select this. I'm going to move the steering wheel to this bottom angle because I want to rotate along this angle. And then simply select the steering wheel. And just like that, I'm able to translate it or rotate it, my bad. So I want to move this 5 degrees forward. And just like that, I'm able to rotate the entire arm of the model. And I don't have to worry about, you know, all the different features that were in the arm or all the other extrude or anything like that. I can just simply take that arm and then rotate it. And that's it.
Yeah, that's nice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one other thing that I want to show you guys is, so let's say, let's go to the side a little bit. Let me take a circle, you know, let's try to do a sweep. So I have the circle and I click on it and then I can extrude, sorry, correct term. So I extruded it. Now, what I can do is, let's say now I did this, but I want to turn it, right? I want this to be at an angle at a 90 degrees. What I can do is I can go select this face, move it to the middle, and remember, press and hold shift and then select the arrow, and I want to translate it a little bit to the side because I want this to, you know, kind of be able to sweep at an angle. Now I want to change the orientation of the steering wheel, so shift and then press the space inside the steering wheel. And that's not the correct orientation I want. So I press that again, and that's the one that I want. Let me move it to the middle. Press the shift, and then what you will have to do is come down here and select lift so that it allows you to properly, you know, sweep. So let's say, oh, what happened? I just lose that. Oh, it's over here. I want to make that 90 degrees. And so I'm able to rotate this. And then what I can do, again, just select the face and then extrude. Just like that, I'm able to create. And this is very good application for, like, for example, for piping, for, tubing, and that sort of thing, So that's really where it's useful. And so, yeah, go ahead.
Would you also use it for space frames, or is there something else that you recommend for that?
Are you saying for space?
Yeah, space frames. So basically, volumes made out of triangles that, like racing car, off-road dune buggies and so on.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you can create it in synchronous technology, you're able to use the steering wheel for any purposes, whether it's, race car or engine or what. I mean, the application, it's limitless. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the basic fundamentals, if you can get those down, you're able to apply them to anything that you want. Recently, one of the Siemens, there was this girl, I don't know if you heard in the news, she used synchronous technology and solid edge to create a prosthetic foot for a Marine. And she was just a high school student, so she was able to use the knowledge of solid edge and synchronous technology and apply that to, creating an entire foot, a lightweight for a Marine. So, the application, it's up to the user. The sky's the limit.
Yeah. Well, I'm just wondering sort of the curve it makes if you would know a specific command, basically, that is a little closer to what you usually see on a space frame. But that's not a real issue. I mean, we can figure that out. But I think that might be interesting as well for many.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm not that much aware of the space range, but I can look into it and send you some information if I can find it. But yeah, I mean, that's about it for the steering wheel. Like I said, that most of it was covered last time as well. So this was just some of the new stuff, and then a little bit of recap of last time as well. So, any questions?
No, all good on that.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good. At first you just have to realize, how does it function? And it's very important, like, remember on the bottom, the little prompt bar, you have to read that, because it tells you, like, press shift and click or hold or drag or whatever. It tells you that, and if you don't follow that, it can get a little frustrating, because it did for me. I was like, what is this doing? This steering wheel looking thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah,